Okay. With that, I will ask for roll call. Kelsey?
Giovanini? Barr?
Here.
Gill?
Here.
S. Horner?
Here.
Causer?
Here.
A. Horner?
Here.
Bradshaw?
Here.
Howard?
Here.
Willie?
Here.
With it being the first meeting of the month, we have a need for a meeting of the Civic Center Authority, and being no business, I will call that meeting to an end. And move on to the consent agenda. We have 3 items up for vote. If anyone has any questions or not, I will entertain a motion.
So Tree Right wants to come here for one day and do almost like a farmer's market out of a tractor trailer rig thing?
Yep, they do it probably 3 times a year.
And they're very busy.
Yeah, and they have to pay us a fee for that. Well, which you can see in the things.
Okay.
Make a motion to.
Okay,
accept.
motion by Mike Barr,
Second.
second by Barb Howard, to accept the consent agenda. Roll call, please.
Barr?
Yes.
Gill?
Yes.
S. Horner?
Yes.
Causer?
Yes.
A. Horner?
Yes.
Bradshaw?
Yes.
Howard?
Yes.
Willie?
Yes.
Moving on to the committee report of public properties and utilities. I'll let either, I guess, Anna, you're the individual that was here at the meeting, so if you want to give a brief, the minutes are in our
Do I
packet.
just read this?
Just, you can read that, or you can give a brief synopsis,
Okay.
either one.
So at the public properties meeting, Alderman Giovanini and myself were there, along with Chris Brock and Mr. Wolford. We talked about snow removal. So Mr. Wolford gave us a model of Urbana's, what their ordinance looks like for their snow removal for their downtown. So we kind of talked about what that would look like for us, and we thought that that model was a good model to kind of use for our own situation here in the downtown. Oh thank God, there's Frank. Hi, Frank. So we talked about what we would do about using that ordinance as a model for us. Then we talked about grass being blown in the streets, and so not just grass, but leaves as well being blown into the street and being a hazard for cars and bikes and whatnot, and that we would address that issue. And then we also talked about Play Park Road, and there was discussion last year to remove that road so that the floodwater could recede back into the river instead of pooling and creating flooding there. And yeah, we just kind of talked about that it would be advised that a path would be installed to kind of use that as a walking path, and that the streets would begin that process this year sometime.
Very good. Thank you, Anna. Moving on to item B, ordinance 2025-0024, property acquisition of 116 West Howard Street. And you want to take that?
Yep, I'll take that. So, as we discussed at the last council meeting, purchasing 116 West Howard Street for $10,000. I've been in contact with Mr. McGee, and he's agreeing to that. We've been over to the building a couple times, and at this point, Mr. McGee agrees with the contract for sale, that for $10,000, we take the dwelling as is, and he will be responsible for any prior taxes and fees that are owed on the property. And so in our last discussion earlier today, the contract indicates that the closing would be on or before the first day of December, and it'd be his preference the sooner the later. He said November 13th is when his back taxes increase due to being more than 6 months. interest on that. So I would just recommend that we pass the ordinance 2025-0024 to acquire the property at 116 West Howard Street. And there are still definitely unknowns in there, but once we have it, I think we'll be able to get in there, get the right people to take a look at it and see what has to happen to that property. All things that ultimately were, I think, going to end up in our lap anyway.
I'll make a motion to approve ordinance 2504.
Motion by Jamie, second by Chan. Roll call, please.
Gill,
Yes.
S. Horner,
Yes.
Cosar,
Yes.
A. Horner,
Yes.
Bradshaw,
Yes.
Howard,
Yes.
Willie,
Yes.
Jovanini,
Yes.
Barr.
Yes.
Thank you. Item C, ordinance 2025-0025, snow removal in the B2 district.
Yes, so I'll take this one too. As we talked about at the committee meeting, one of the issues every winter downtown is there are some buildings that don't remove the snow from their sidewalks. And going and looking at the statute, we can, as a non-home rule unit, provide those ordinances necessary to affect good operations of the city. In addition to that, 1180 of 13 of the Illinois Municipal Code specifically grants the authority to municipalities to regulate the use of sidewalks and may require the owner or occupant of premises to keep those sidewalks clear. And so this, I'll just kind of talk through this model ordinance here. Removing, in essence, the summary, the quick summary is building owners will be responsible for removing snow from the sidewalk if they are in the B2 business district and their building abuts a public sidewalk. So there are a couple of things in here that that are open to interpretation for you to consider. One of them is in section B on page 3 of the, it's page 3, but it's actually page 2. It says page 3 on the bottom. Section B says that they have to remove at least 60 inches in width. That number is in there because that's pretty much our ADA standard of having a width of 5 feet or the width of the sidewalk, whichever is smaller. There are some places that don't have big wide sidewalks there. ADA requires 48 inches, so if you were inclined to pass this, you could also reduce that at least to 48. That way a business or a building owner wouldn't have to go 60 inches. It also indicates that they would have 24 hours to have those sidewalks cleared after the cessation of any snow, sleet, or freezing rains. That would be indicated by the street superintendent of when that 2-inch threshold would happen. And I would expect that our policy would be when the city gets our areas cleared. Like, we wouldn't do it right away. We would clear our sidewalks first, and then that 24 hours would start then. It'd give the business owners a little more time as well to get theirs done. And so then that announcement would be made at the beginning of enforcement to take place on Monday after 6 a.m. through 5 p.m. on Friday, and excluding recognized federal, state, or city holidays. So in essence, our time clock would begin during business hours. I would also suggest that year one really would be a educational year where we would be reminding building owners of what the requirement is. In section 3884, which is on the actual third page, which is the abatement part of it, this was the escalating tier of abatement from Urbana for violations. If an actual first violation was a notice of warning in number B, where they would receive one notice from the city for failure to comply, that would either be a stop by or a call, getting a hold of them and letting them know, hey, you got to get that removed. The first actual violation is $25, second 50, third 100, fourth 250, fifth and subsequents 500. In addition to that, if they did fail to remove their snow and the city had to, then we would have them cover the costs of city employees and equipment being used to remove that snow. All of those things are up to your purview and whether you want to keep them the way they are or change them. If you have any questions, I would be happy to answer them.
How would the city know what that cost?
I didn't hear what you said, I'm sorry.
How do we know what our cost would
Oh, well, Chris is, they have a activity sheet where he would know who was there, the amount of time that they were there. Yeah. And what, what if we're talking sidewalks, so we're not talking big trucks or any kind of equipment like that, but if we had a snow blower or a shovel, it would be different. Then the last thing is, we talked also, I talked with Chris, and like, what do we do with the snow? And he said, best thing to do with it is just put it in the street. A lot of the ordinances say you can't deposit any snow in the street, but in the downtown, there really is no other place to put it.
On the days that we have a week-long 19 degrees, 20 degrees below zero with wind factors and all that crap,
Yep.
and that stuff freezes, it just keeps building up because it'll melt in the sun and come back the next day.
Yep.
I mean,
Yeah, so this
we've gotta have
addresses
to get-
that as
I know
well?
I've seen the freezing thing, but it really doesn't, I guess it says when reasonably safe.
Right.
But, who's decides when it's reasonably safe?
Yeah, it says, in essence, when you have sleet, freezing rain, ice, those things, that it would be the building owner's responsibility to either put some salt or sand, an abrasive substance down, and then, when reasonable, to get it removed, so.
Just from experience, I know how that is really difficult.
Sure. Yep.
And the more it gets used, it seems like the worse it gets. More traffic it gets, the worse.
This one we plan to leave for the cost. Grass mowing. Get ordinance violation, I've got to prosecute.
I guess that would be up to the council on
It
how.
doesn't have a lien provision. I
It
have to
doesn't.
research it to make sure the lien is, you could have the power to lien for it like you would for mowing. I would think it'd be similar.
Yeah, that may be a provision that we may want to add in there.
That makes enforcement easier. We just file the lien at some point in time that refinance, mortgage, sell, or whatever, and end up having to pay. As opposed to being in court.
Mm-hmm.
I see.
Anybody have any comments or questions?
Yeah,
Maybe we should add it to the sewer bill, fine flash.
But 60 inches, if there's enough snow, that is a lot to remove.
Yep.
I mean, do we want to shorten that a
What's
little
huge is
bit?
Sandy's job at the office going forward.
Yeah, I have Sandy do it.
If it's
What
60
time I
inches,
snowblower.
This is
We're
being
gonna close
recorded,
utility
Al.
pole.
So,
I always shovel one.
if that's a lot of snow, and
Yeah.
and anytime I think about it, I think when I was in Chicago in 2011, and it was Snowmageddon, and there was a walking way. That's all the business owners could get, and I had snow up to my hips. Like, for me, that 60 inches is a lot. That's 5 feet. And so I think if we shorten that a little bit to allow at least, I'd rather there be a walking path than them get discouraged and not do it at all. You know what I mean?
And I think if we're going to require people to do it, we then need to adhere at least to an ADA standard where somebody in a wheelchair.
Oh, I
can
agree.
do it.
Right.
Yeah.
Which, that's why I said at least if you felt like to drop it down 48 inches would be the minimum where you would, the ADA standard would be 48 inches.
We actually
the
still
60
have
might
the
be in his lot,
prosecutorial.
But some of those sidewalks are really wide, and here's the problem, if you're shoveling from the front of the building to the 48 inches out, now you got, let's say, a foot or so of snow there, that's where people are getting in and out of their cars. That's where you really kind of want it shoveled, because they're gonna track that snow right back up onto your sidewalk, and it's like cleaning the house when the kids are home. It's just gonna get dirty again.
You've got your big downtown sidewalks that are 12-foot wide.
Yeah, some of them
You know,
are
if they would do 60 inches, you've still got half of it that's still completely covered with snow, so we haven't defined what's 60. But getting back to Sarah's question, if we might make this thing comply with ADA here and be upfront, but when it comes down to actually ticketing somebody, if they've made an effort and have that walking path and it's clean, maybe we would use our discretion not to fine them. Look at that and say, it's not 60 inches, but it's at least no shovel with you walking.
Yeah.
But I understand what Jamie's saying, like the downtown sidewalks.
So they're 10
It's a
feet.
double step on a lot of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That has to be completely removed, because if it's not, like she said, it's just, yeah, it makes it even more dangerous, actually. Stepping down onto that when you come back out and.
I know that block there by like the bakery, there's the sidewalk and then there's a step. And not all the downtown is that way.
No.
But it does
All
happen,
different.
and when you shovel out, and now it's on the steps, and not the road, it's not gonna get plowed away, and now those people getting out of the car are getting out in a snow pile.
Yeah, so ultimately, it's what you're willing to require people to have to do, right? And I think, I think about like when it would snow and I was at the PD, we would always shovel at least a big enough path. We didn't always shovel that, the stairs over there are probably 12 feet wide, and we would shovel about half of them and get it down to the road so people could come up them. And I think that's probably what most people would do. I don't know if, I mean, according to this, they wouldn't be required to have to do that, and you could make people, if they were gonna not go all the way down to the ramp and come up that way, then they would be fighting through snow, but they might be doing that anyway because it's gonna be piled up on the side of the street.
Yeah.
Now, you could shovel the 60 inches that's closest to the street, and then just a little path to your door.
Or they might just shovel by their door and not the street. We got 60 inches, it doesn't designate
Right.
spot. And then you've got the whole snow, so, I mean, the other alternative, of course, is for the city to take on the expense and just do it. You know,
I know that when I would shovel, if I didn't shovel that step, like, people couldn't get out of their cars. They just couldn't. If I just shoveled it to the step, I would be.
yeah, but if, once they've snow plowed, that step sometimes is buried. Because they have to go up against the step and then they're rolling it over, so. My experience has been sometimes we shovel it and they come through, the snow plow is big enough to throw it over, berm into under the sidewalk after it's already been shoveled.
It just seems to me that if I was.
It's just a problem. I mean, I
was a
try to
merchant-
shovel at least a walkway.
If I was a merchant, I would want to be considerate to my consumer, my customer. And so I would do whatever was possible to get them safely to my door. It's ironic we have to create a program of slapping their hands to get some to do that. Apparently, we've had that issue downtown. So,
Yeah, the majority of our businesses.
yeah, so I'm sure the same ones who have caused that issue before will be the same ones who will have to remind them about this, but as far as I'm concerned, I think this is fine just the way it is. You know, I just think it's.
Who's going to
If
be
I
the
was running the
enforcer?
store, I would want my I would
Not
want to
need to be
respect my
threatened, yeah.
customers and have a,
I think the police have.
Okay,
Ticket.
okay,
Yeah, it's a pride thing. I
Yeah.
get where you're coming from.
yeah.
If it's
So this is
administrative,
all on
so
law enforcement, not,
ticketing.
did you have another question, Sarah? Okay,
How far does the central business district stretch outside of the main square?
Ladd Street. Right? Really?
It's quite a ways. We will, you and I look at the map. It
Yeah.
goes over to,
Thank you.
Washington to
Oh, it's past
Howard,
those.
Ladd to Chicago, right?
Yes.
Division.
County Mark.
Division
Yeah.
or Court Street.
Then
It's
this
court on the
apply
west.
to
Main to court.
Residences as well?
Main to court, Howard to water.
It's, does it apply to the residents as well? in the
Now, I
central
mean, do you
business
have any,
district?
in that central business district, do you have anybody who's a resident?
Every
not a
owner of a
resident?
lot within the central business district.
Yeah.
So there's probably
Yeah,
a
there-
few
there's a couple-
homes.
There's a few residences in there.
And it would apply to them as well?
Applies to the owner, not necessarily the tenant or occupant. So if somebody owns a building absentee and the tenant doesn't take care of it, the owner's responsible.
Would that be true, like if I'm renting a business downtown, but the person who owns the building where my business is lives in Florida?
Yes. I mean, it would be, this makes it their responsibility, the owner, the person who's responsible for moving the snow, by the definition, every owner of a lot in the
Not
central.
the renter.
Right.
So it makes enforcement harder,
Right.
you know, and I suppose you could change it to every owner or occupant. I don't have a problem with that, sewer bill, administrative. Collect it that way. Just, I worry about the number of collections and if we get to the point where you really do it, because, you know, I've walked the courthouse, and good, bad, good, bad. That's why you're doing this.
And there's benefits to both. If it's the, because if you're putting a lien on it, then it's really gonna have to come back down to the owner. But if you have an owner that has a storefront and there's one business here and one business here,
They don't, he does.
right, it kind of creates a spot where if this, the person who owns the building then has to contract with somebody really to remove the snow rather than.
Well, it might be a business opportunity for someone. It's like the window washer. I mean, everybody gets their
Yeah,
windows
everybody-
washed, and there's a guy that goes around, and you pay him
Ouija
20
board calls
bucks,
them up, yeah.
and he's, you know, and so perhaps there's an individual who would love to do this, and so they just go down the street, and,
They had, I'm trying to figure out where I put my snowball.
And I think the lien process may be a better enforcement process for us, just to make sure we don't encounter situations where someone just figures, well, I'll just have the city be my contractor.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
because that's what we're really trying to avoid.
Right.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
it's
because
about public
they're busy
safety.
doing all the other snow removal.
Right, yeah, it's
Well,
a,
we need to define the lien, and we can enforce it alternatively. Because if somebody's not selling it or something, you know, we
Yeah.
need to be able to enforce the amount of the lien as a
So
civil.
is that something you'd have to add to this?
We would have to modify the terms to provide for a lien. I need to research the statute that says you can file liens to make sure. But you got, it's separate from the fine. The removal charge is a separate thing from the $25, $50, $100 fine. It's in addition to that. And as an owner, if I were to lease it to Jamie, for instance, and I put in my lease, she's to keep the sidewalk clear. She doesn't keep the sidewalk clear, I'm upset with Jamie and the city both. So, I mean, I boot out Jamie and get somebody who'll clear the snow. But that's the whole, at the end of the day, that's what needs to happen. The owner's got to enforce somebody or hire, but usually, day-to-day maintenance like that would fall on the tenant. We're putting the onus on the owner here.
Is it in a condition that we can still vote on it, or do we have to show it?
So I think the most important thing would be to have some kind of consensus that what everybody wants is to look like at the end. To make it enforceable, you probably need to vote on the actual document. It won't sound.
if it does, it does.
To me, it's 60/50.
Aging.
I don't want it to snow anyway, though.
No, kidding.
I think we need to
So
put
do-
something in there about that it goes on the owner as far as the lien.
Yeah, I'm gonna research that. I'll pull up the statute that talks about us leaning do it for cleaning up almost any kind of mess in the yard, mowing, junk, debris. I just need to read if it excludes somehow or something. I got the statutory citation of the office. I'll figure that one out, but I like the idea. It's simple for us when we mow it, put lien on the property. At some point in time, we generally get paid. It takes a long time sometimes. Somebody will sell or refinance or something that triggers that lien being a problem, and they have to pay us. Now, one point where it's a negative is if we have somebody that is in the middle of a foreclosure proceeding, and the city's been served with a lis pendens notice that there's a foreclosure filed, and we file a lien, we get foreclosed off. We don't, nothing gives us super priority. But if that's not happening, we get in line. And if there's a mortgage on it, we're ahead of the mortgage.
I hope we don't get that far.
Right?
So we're clearing the
Yeah.
buildings we're clearing the sidewalks on the buildings that are empty, right?
Pardon
The owner's
me?
responsible.
The city-
The owner will be responsible for it.
Yeah, we don't.
Whoever
we
owns
don't
the
clear
building.
If it's a vacant building, we don't clear it.
Okay, and then we don't have any of our own, we got downtown?
Oh, we have the museums.
Yeah, they take care of their own. He
Barn.
just said we're not gonna prosecute somebody until we have our own taken care of. That'd be a bad example.
I was just
So-
wondering how many we had that we, middle of the block things need to be cleared, so, just don't look at it.
So we're waiting till next meeting. Alan's gonna add,
Research that
research
lien
the lien
language.
part. Is there any other things that we needed changed or not?
Why doesn't the business district stretch all the way to Chicago Street?
I'm not sure it does. You said Maine, but I'm not sure it does.
It probably does.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, I bet
I thought it
so.
was Chicago to
Yeah.
Port,
Yeah,
Howard to water.
That would
That
make
makes
more
more
sense.
Yeah.
Based upon what we
Yeah.
just looked at.
Okay.
It's just,
so do we have a motion? Do we need a motion, or we just,
I think you table it.
okay, we're just
just
tabling.
just go ahead
Okay,
and table,
okay,
and we'll bring something back.
very good. All right, item number D, approval of the 2026 golf course chemical purchase, and I believe that Mr. Campbell is here to talk about that. Take it away.
All right, this thing's on?
Should be, but
Yeah.
Okay, ready here. Good evening, everyone. I'm sure we're all getting used to the time change in the 5 o'clock sunsets, but it's that time of year again. I'm here today to present the chemical budget for the 26 golf season. There should be a couple packets in front of you, stapled. One of them's for this past season, and the other one is for the upcoming 26 season. I'm actually going to start with 2024, just to kind of show the direction and the trend we've kind of been going. And I kind of just wanted to save some paper, and but if we want to see it later on, I can easily make it available for anybody who's wanting that. But the cost of chemicals in 24 were $59,510.60, and after about a $5,700 rebate, the number fell to $53,725.35. And that would have been for the 24 season. Now, if you look at the first packet, the one labeled 25, you'll see that we spent $58,583 last year and received about a $7,500 rebate, lowering that cost to about $51,231.34. Now, that cost is almost $2,500 less than in 24. So now if you look at the one I'm presenting to you today for the 26 season, you'll see the quotes at $54,668 or 68 cents. And with an annual rebate of about $6,900, that now falls to $47,647.73. Now, the big numbers here are that's almost $4,000 less than last year and almost $6,000 less than 2 years ago. So last year at this time when I was presenting, it was asked that I go get a few more comparable bids and see what our options are. Well, I took that to a couple sales reps, one that I worked with for a long time up at Oak Ridge where I was before, and another one I just know from the industry. Their names are Travis Williams out of Tyler Enterprise and Rusty Stakowitz, and he's from Advanced Turf. He's who I used up in LaSalle. And they looked at the current program that I have versus what they can do and where they can get pricing wise. And it takes anywhere from 5 to 6 hours to put together a program. And they both kind of looked at me and said, we can't get your current program into this pricing, so we don't want to waste that time. Because they're not able to give me the rebates and things that Heritage is, just based upon the fact that we're a current customer and we've been there for quite some time. And in a world where pricing tends to go up annually and continuously, I feel like we should take advantage of the current relationship we have built with them as they continue to save us money and still maintain the aesthetic standard we have already set. Now, these numbers include all chemicals for the golf course, all chemicals for like pond treatments, things like that, as well as seed to go into next year to kind of recover from the end of the summer we've had. Now, my recommendation would be to go forward with this. And if there's any questions, I'll take them now. Go ahead.
Okay. This is, like curiosity.
Mm-hmm.
There's the unit of measurement, and there's the bag, gallon, and quart.
Mm-hmm. So are we looking at 25 or 26, or does it matter?
Yeah, they all have bag, gallon, quart.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's BT. I don't know what that is. I mean, it doesn't really matter. I can only guess what a BT is.
Bottle probably,
Yep.
22 ounces.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, yep.
And the other
Alright.
one is 26, I'm guessing that's about.
Yep, they either comes in bottles, bags, or gallons, so,
All right.
yep.
So is the plan to use fewer chemicals?
Well,
Doesn't look that way.
not necessarily, so, based upon kind of how the irrigation was at the end of the year, the dryness we had, there's a little bit of leftover inventory, so they take that into consideration, with what we have, and we've also changed over the last few years. So I chart what I've used, what works, what tends to work better, and kind of eliminate the things that are just kind of there for, like you kind of have to alternate them so that they don't become resistant. So certain chemicals work better. He's kind of found different ways to make some of there's, how do I explain it? It's like there's major times like end of June, beginning of July that like you have to have very good coverage, and so you use your best chemicals then. It's kind of early spring, late summer that you kind of want to get away from the what you'd call agency stuff, and we've kind of went more towards that, which that lowers the price. The agency stuff doesn't matter if you get it from Heritage or any of the other two guys. That agency price is the same regardless of who you go to.
You'd be more efficient.
Yes.
Yeah, it looks like the unit cost kind of went up. But using less.
Well, we kind of gotten dialed in to how many acres there is on the golf course. You know what I mean? We went from about 28 to 30 acres of, say, fairways and tees to down to like 26 in some areas. So just that kind of lowers that cost as well, like the amount of areas that we have to spray.
Well, early on, you had to kind of guess what all you were going to need. Now you have. much
Correct.
more
And now
variety.
with the sprayer that you allowed me to purchase, I can dial it into the fairway, I can dial it into the specific green and know exactly, like if I'm done with greens, I know exactly that it's like 3.2 acres, which that information wasn't given to me in the first, year and a half or so.
So you're getting better at what you do because you're learning the course better.
Sure.
Good
That
job.
makes sense. That doesn't make sense.
And these rebates, these are really incentives that are being given by the.
You like an
various-
early order, like we go now and we get that incentive. So like one of the major checks came, I think Lori picked it up from the golf course like 3 weeks ago. And that was that big 70, 100 of it. And then a little bit of it comes in a Visa card and a little bit of it comes in another check form.
Any other questions?
So because of the amount and that it's a sole source request, it would require a 2/3 vote.
Require a what? I'm sorry.
A 2/3
Two-thirds.
vote.
Oh,
because you didn't bid it per se. It's just you have to have that kind of consensus to straight to contract.
I'll make a motion to approve.
And just, when is this payable? When,
We don't pay it till next year.
Next year,
Yeah,
spring,
we'll
post
next
April
year's
1,
budget.
it'll go to, yep.
Motion by Jamie, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by John. Roll call, please.
Pauser,
Yes.
Ahorner,
Yes.
Bradshaw,
Yes.
Howard,
Yes.
Willie,
Yes.
Jovanini,
Yes.
Lahr,
yes.
Gill,
Yes.
S. Horner.
Yes.
Thank you. There you go. Thank you.
Thanks, Shannon.
Okay, mayor's comments. I've got a few notes here. First item, the visioning tour. I don't know, a few of you participated in that, that Liz and Cheyenne conducted a week ago Friday. I think went pretty well. Maybe a couple of you that were in on it. I had to leave, but it sounds like there was a good number of people that participated, and so hopefully some great ideas came out of that, and it helps us to potentially get some new businesses into those storefronts downtown.
What I found interesting was there were several people from out of town, like Campus, other towns, who were actually looking for places to
Space.
start a business. So I don't know how you reached out to them.
Yeah,
But that I didn't expect. I just thought it
Sure.
was just going to be a bunch of us wandering
Uh-huh.
around
yeah,
with stickers on windows.
yeah.
With our beverages.
Just an update item to note, I think IDOT is pretty close to being finished out at 116. They're still doing the stoplights, but we discovered the other day, I mean, via a few of us noticing, but Sarah had made a phone call to me about the lack of a sidewalk in just one section on the south side of 116. We had, for those who don't know, many years ago, we had requested that intersection have sidewalks and pedestrian improvements. And the state at the time said, if you want it now, you have to pay for it, but if you wait until we improve that intersection, they will be added. So that is a huge improvement to that intersection because there are so many pedestrians, so now they will be able to cross much safer. So a new sidewalk was put in front of Cafe Fontana, and then it ends
Yeah.
at S&R, and then that is only that lot that does not have sidewalks. So Brian made a call to IDOT a few days ago, and they actually returned his call this morning while I was here, and because he pulled out the plans, he had access, and there was a sidewalk on the plans. However, it was not installed. And so he discovered from them that they ran into some temporary easement issues with the property owners there. And for whatever reason, which we're not sure, it either fell through the cracks or because they were running on a time crunch, they did not continue to pursue the easements. So Brian asked, so what do we have to do because we need to get that sidewalk in there? You know, is it going to be on us? Because there will be probably a need for a little bit of an easement on the S&R property, potentially. They currently use it to park cars on the right-of-way. So if anyone asks, he's working on it, but we don't know how fast it will happen. Because it's unfortunate now because people are crossing there and they're getting to a point and then they have nowhere to go other than the road or continue to walk in the, like, you know, you can see that they've got a cattle path going through there. So that's just an update to everybody in case anyone asks you. Fall Fest, for those, if anybody else here in the room that the parks did a week ago, was spectacular. The day was really great, and I would estimate, I was there pretty much the whole time, and between some of us, Jack Bristow is kind of the parking cars, and we guesstimated there was over 3,000 people at the park. The parks did a great job. There was a lot of the trunk or treaters. I mean, there was just, it was a great space for all of the activities that were going on. And it was nice to see so many people out, and the weather was good, and so kudos to that group over there because it's an undertaking. Anna was one of the vendors, so she She was witness to all that was going on. It was fun. People lined up for an hour for trunk or treating. It was crazy. So, fun. Today, I did decorating downtown, gathered a group of people that we did all the poles and bows. We wrapped the garland, and with the help of at one point 3 up to 5 of Chris's team, and we pretty much knocked out all the space except for around the Law and Justice Center, and it was nice. The people that came and helped really were like, this is going to mean a lot because we can drive down here now and see that we helped, and so it was a great day for that because the weather was good, and the lights are all probably on except for a few areas where we have some electricity issues. And so then in the newsletter this month, it announced that we were having the Deck the City Holiday Decorating Contest. And so I encourage everyone to spread the word about that. I will get some more marketing going on it as we go because entries won't start being taken until December 1st. But there will be categories: Light Up the Town, Best Lights or Light Show; Deck the Yard, Best Overall Display, or kind of like, Clark Griswold; Classic Christmas, Best Traditional; a decorated porch, patio, or balcony for those who live in small spaces; the most festive block. I would like to encourage neighbors to go together and to make a scene. If everybody. And then, as I said before, elected officials, I'll ask each of the aldermen to get together and choose something in their ward. And then we will also do a People's Choice community favorite by social media. So hopefully people will get engaged in that, and, it'll make the town be fun for the holidays. That's all I have. So on to council comments. Anybody got anything?
Yeah, I just have one. The parks assessment. So I completed my assessment of the parks this last weekend. 10 parks in our city. It's actually, when you think about it, it's incredible. A city of our size has 10 parks.
It is.
And then when you take the time to actually go and genuinely walk those parks and look at those parks and look at their condition and what we make available to the public, it's incredible.
Mm-hmm.
And the job that the city workers themselves do to take care of it is phenomenal. I mean, it's something that we as a community should be proud of.
Ditto.
I agree with you on that, and I'm looking forward to going through all the different surveys that you all did and hopefully get it presented in the next couple of weeks, hopefully by the next city council meeting to everybody. I thank you for all your efforts. And we are blessed with 10 gorgeous parks.
Well, and so many underused
Yes.
because, for whatever reason.
I mean, I was surprised every single park I went to, there were people there using them. And I'm not a disc golfer. And I've always looked at that and I've thought to myself, do people really do this? And there were like 3
Yes.
groups out there
Mm-hmm.
playing disc golf when I was out there. And, the Humiston Riverside Park, there were 2 different families out, 2 different spots taking fall pictures with their families. So it was really cool to see that.
I was at Chautauqua and met a family from the Middle East. I was like, okay. They walked up and like, is everything looking okay? And then they had this accent. So where are you from? And they said, oh, we're here visiting from the Middle East and just wanted to take the kids to the park.
Wow. Anybody else? Mr. Wolford?
Okay. Just a couple things. Tourism and Community Enrichment have submitted a couple grants, a marketing grant and a tourism attraction grant. That tourism attraction grant is another attempt at Centennial Plaza to get $200,000 for that, a grant for that attraction. We've been getting a number of RFQs for the sewer project. That's been going well. I went out, did a tour with one of the groups that came and wanted to look at the plant. That was a group from Champaign. Shannon, I hear you have some good news on hole number 6.
I do. We finally came and got that fixed. Probably took a week and a half longer than I wanted to, but Derek Chandler from Durham Electric gave me a hand over about a 16-hour, 2-day period to get it resolved so that it works from the satellite box now. So that's really good.
And then, moving on, I do have, when we have the finance committee meeting, couple items right now on there, our fleet maintenance program, and we did get an RFP for the purchase of the Madison Street property, go over that. And, still, the audit is still ongoing, haven't actually gotten any requests from the auditor yet, and, was speaking to Lauterbach today, and they're going to reach out and see where we stand with that. We did finish the Department of Revenue's pension audits, so that's all completed. So we still have, annual financial report has to get filed when our audit is done. This is from last budget year, and then just that audit, so. And then the second quarter financials, they should be coming out. I hope to have them at the next meeting. They should be coming out very soon.
City Hall is closed on Veterans Day, right?
It is.
Next. Okay, there is no public, unless you guys want to be public. With that, motion to adjourn. Barb, Frank, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion adjourned. Meeting adjourned.
Whatever.